I think it's hugely beneficial for support groups in general, for there to be, although unique differences within the group, similarities enough that individuals, particularly in a peer support group that's education-based peer support, I'm not talking about clinical-based groups, but in peer support groups, I think there is a huge advantage for the group member to be in a room with somebody who may not have the same experience, but they have similar experiences. And so as a 65-year-old woman, I may find myself being in a support group with a 20-year-old, and the natural instinct may be to either protect, nurture, not shock, start taking care of group members. And that's true of dynamics in groups anyways. However, I think particularly for older adults who very frequently are isolated, feel that they're the only person, and that's usually true of all victims, but more so of older victims, it gives them a connection that they're not the only one, and the ability to support each other in a really hard road.
I'll tell you what I've heard from older women that have come to Doves after participating in other programs where there were mixed ages. One of the first things I remember a woman saying to me was, Alice, I sat in this support group with women in their early 20s to maybe 30s. And I sat there the whole time thinking, they're thinking, what an idiot I am. How stupid am I that I stayed in this 50-year abusive marriage and I didn't get out. It is much more effective for older women to have the support of other older women.
The groups are specific for older victims that are being abused. And we provide two groups. One for the victim that is suffering from an intimate partner relationship, and the other one we provide we call it the mother's group. And so sometimes they're in both groups, and sometimes they're just in one, dealing with the issues that are specific to them. When we've had open groups for parenting or domestic violence or substance abuse education, they do present, and it's a unique setting because oftentimes the younger women hear the stories and say, I want to make a change in my life, and it empowers them. And then sometimes the older women hear the younger women's strength and say, that's something that I can do now, and it's not too late. It's a thin line because we don't want the older women that are being abused to feel like we're putting them in a box and all services are just for the traditional domestic violence population. They have their own group room. The older women decorated that room. They sewed the quilt together themselves, and it's their private space, and no one else has group in their sanctuary but them. Support groups for older victims are essential because now they know they're not by themselves. There's actually someone out there that's like me, that's trying to make the decision on whether they should leave or not. The topics are consistent with the things that older victims are going through. They're going through deciding if divorce is right for them, deciding if their faith community is going to accept them, down to what some victims told me, will I, and these are their words, go to hell if I leave this relationship because I believe that, divorce is a sin, things like that. And so in groups, they get the opportunity to talk about the things that are relevant to them, what it means to be a grandmother, what it means to be the mother to older children, to have to walk the walk of knowing that your kids have witnessed things and it was due to what you believe to be right at that time and not being judged for the decisions that you've made, and knowing that I'm not alone.